I mean, I never partake myself,
Yeah.
but I just like to make sure that my guests are all taken care of. Fucking
America.
fuck! Don't break eye contact. I'm almost there. And my my ancestors, and they came to America, and I'm pretty sure they did this. They, saw how the WASPs were living, the Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Yeah.
And they were not any of that.
Yeah,
And they were
Catholics probably, I'm guessing.
They said, well, for us to keep living here, we should probably, and to get jobs, we should probably pretend to be like them. And then they were them.
Yeah.
And, so...
Like they became...
They became them. They malted that, ethnic identity, and they were like, oh yeah, we're totally just like everybody else. Nothing to see here. That's something that white immigrants were able to do.
Yeah.
Black slaves
We're not even... Yeah, that's...
could not do that.
That's not an option.
That's not an option.
Yeah. And you would... And I don't know, I would imagine that anyone today who has parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, like whoever were Europeans who were escaping, like war-torn,
Right. Or fan or whatever.
whatever it may have been, and came to America to seek out the dream of whatever, and realize that they too were also trying to assimilate into this new concept of race, and they had to find their place in it and find their acceptance in it. I would imagine that they would understand that today that we're forcing that hand again.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's not a matter of being woke, it's just a matter of just recognizing what's happening. Because it's happening.
There's a historical context to it.
Yeah.
And people need to be aware of it. That, our country was, founded earlier than the settlers at Plymouth Rock.
Yeah.
And since then, slaves were being brought to the Americas.
So there's a 1619 or 1649. It's some 1600 year, and it's amazing to me that the people that I more than likely come from that were brought here originally, to be on some Adam and Eve level of creating a new group of people, but they came here originally, and they're more so, in my mind, more important than the current wave of third generation white immigrants. They own every right to the land. And that's also
one of the
weird...
One of, not the first people, but they were, some of the earliest people to work that land.
Yeah.
And to build an infrastructure.
Yeah. And it's very
for
weird.
the colonial settlers.
Yeah. And that's why it's always weird. America's America's history and Oklahoma's history, and wondering how it's supposed to all connect, and how would you make things like reparations work when it's but what about the people before, the indigenous people before,
Yeah.
this was theirs before, and and that's an argument that can go on and on and on, but I'd rather not, because I always
because we're only shooting so much time for the show.
Yeah, no, I just always feel bad for every person that comes here and immediately receives the values of whiteness first.
Yeah.
Because it's a messy one to take in. It's a dangerous burden to have, and a lot of people don't know that they have it.
Yeah, it's the inverse of Rudyard Kipling's White Man's Burden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a guy. That's a good one.
Man, what a fucking tool. Anyway,
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. So, what was it like to see a black person get elected president?
It was very it was interesting, because in 5th grade, I wrote a paper for class, and in it, I expressed my dreams of becoming president through my mom's wishes of like, you're going to go to this school, and then you'll go to this school, and then you'll get this degree, and then you'll study, do all those things to become president.
So overachieving.
Yeah, but that would take another 20 years. And to imagine that it didn't take that much longer.
He had like a law degree and stuff.
Right. Harvard, whatever. He did a lot of great things. Great time. But it was very amazing. I know I called my mom immediately, or she called me immediately, and we cried a little bit on the phone. And yeah, it's still amazing to think about, but it's also really weird to think about because of the whole like right before Bobby Kennedy got shot. Yeah. And he was like, and maybe in 40 years, the Negro could have a president themselves. And that's just, the timing is a little weird, because literally 40 years later, like 42 years later or something like that, it happens.
Look at that prescience.
Yeah, it's strange. But, it's wonderful in the moment, but after the last 2 terms, you come to realize the magic of America isn't real. And the beauty of what you thought the president is and isn't that at all, like to once revel in the idea of a black person being president, and then at the same time sulk in knowing that they're also a war criminal. It's such a dangerous line to lay on, because there's so much beauty and joy that they brought about in my life.
Yeah.
There was so much understanding of blackness that I gained from seeing that family in that house that was built by black people who couldn't get into that house for so long.
Made him like, you saw their family and stuff quite a bit,
Yeah.
Their kids.
That was America's family. America's family was a black dude, a black woman, and 2 black girls. And it shifted completely. It wasn't the Kennedys anymore. It wasn't the Clintons or the Bushes anymore. It was somebody with a middle name that sounded a little Muslim. But also the direct just opposition. Like, I remember people that I knew personally would say just the most heinous things. And I would be confused. Like, why would you say that about someone you've never met before? Why would you think someone is
somebody who's really accomplished?
I mean, I don't know. It was interesting. It was great. I wish I could do it again.
10 out of 10.
Yeah,
I'd do again.
I would totally do it again. I'd vote for him again. I'd vote for him twice again.
I'd vote for Michelle.
I'd vote for Michelle, but Michelle's definitely not gonna run.
Probably not.
Because
I think probably once you have your turn in the White House, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
America, all of you guys in the United States of America has watched him age and know what he looks like now versus when he got into office.
Young. He's still,
full
he's
of
still
spirit, and it hasn't completely broken him down, but
that's amazing though.
Yeah,
that optimism.
You see that happen. They go in, and then I don't know, it just breaks their spirit.
Yeah. Because imagine what president is supposed to do. They're supposed to uphold these values that are built on slavery. They're supposed to uphold these values that are built upon race and injustice. They're supposed to uphold that. Those are the guys. This is what I stand for. This is the country that follows me, and we stand on these grounds. And I imagine the more that you do that, and every day you wake up and you know that you have to kill another 13 kids in a country you'll never go to, that shit has to just rip at your soul.
Yeah, it kills you as a person. I
become heartless, and that's what's weird about.
But in the soldiers, they experience that too. So on every level of the executive branch in the military, there's this kind of an othering, a dehumanization of the enemy. You've got to think like that. Or you can't.
You have to
kill another person.
You have to increase the idea that in the populace that this is an other person.
Right.
This isn't another person. This is an other thing.
They're not like people. They're terrorists.
Yes. They are super predators.
Right.
They're, what else are they calling people that are there?
They're gonna rape your women. They're going to
bad
they
hombres.
hate you because you're free. Yeah, they're bad hombres.
Yeah, and so, but like coded language is as old as time here. But they continue to convince people that this is the problem, that the person next to you is the problem, and that's what's.
And we're not looking inward.
No,
we're looking at the others. We're looking at the other country, the people in the other countries that we're targeting as enemies. We're not looking at ourselves and the premise on which our country was founded and the circumstances in which it was founded.
Yeah.
The blood and the sweat and the tears that went into the fields.
Yeah.
That we made money off of.
It's gonna be paid back, and it's gonna be an awful.
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible.
What James Baldwin say? A fire next time. No more water but fire.
Yeah.
All the tears. All the tears of.
That's gonna come back tenfold.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it'll be awful, and that's
because
that's the truth of it, I guess.
Yeah. You pay in with blood, you're gonna get paid with blood.
Yeah.
That's how that happens all of the time.
Every time, yeah.
Every time.
We dropped the bomb first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was us.
So
we did that. You're welcome, the rest of the world.